Hello, Churan's Tiny Homestead here. My name's Evelyn Churan, and I'm talking to people about a tiny house build semi-off grid. Anyways, okay, as you know, in the past, I've ran hydro because going with solar power was just too expensive, and I'm not an electrician and I'm not willing to learn all that stuff. I'd rather have stuff that's maintained by another company. I've worked very hard all my life. I've got too many injuries and I just can't afford to live like that anymore. I'm too injured. Anyways, the driller for the well. So he showed me a whole bunch of wells that he has done and other wells that have been done here. And he took a look around the property and he said, because I have bedrock right on the face of the property, like above ground, he said, you're not going to go 200 to 300 feet. Um, it's going to be a shallow well, from what I understand, because I've got bedrock directly on the property. Now, I told him where we did dig where I didn't see any bedrock. However, there's some pretty big stones on my property that were here, which I think they were here from the build in the past. People cleaned them up and I just placed them somewhere. So anyways, on that note, the end of August, beginning of September, the well will be going in. It's not anywhere near the cost that the other company was telling me. He said high end is 26,000, but he said because I have bedrock and he noticed on my property that I do have bedrock, that I'll probably be going half the distance and he'll frack earlier because it's cheaper. And then he's going to styrofoam underground, stuff like that. They leave a berm hill that will settle afterwards. It's going to be going in the front of the property, not behind, because my house is too far to the back of the property and they won't get any equipment in. And he said, unless we move all the buildings, and I'm not paying to move all the buildings because that's another $100,000. It's just not worth it. My cabin's on top of a hill and I want to leave it that way. So he recognized my cabin right away. He said it was Hutterite built, this building, and it's got 3 additions on it, which brings it out to 800 square feet. He said, but they can only go, he goes, that's a 40-foot long. And I said, yeah, it's 14 by 40. And he said, yeah, because that's all the permits they can get to take it down the road. You can't go any higher to order it in pre-built. So that's good to know a little bit of history about my place. This guy knew everything about the area. He showed me where he's going to drill. He showed me where they're going to put the pipes inside of the buildings. There's 2 buildings to do. He showed me high-end cost with pumps, which it doesn't even have to go that expensive, he said. It's going to be a lot less. I'm very, very happy with this meeting that I had today. It was a little bit of good news. It's going to go in sooner than I thought. I got the assessor coming from the bank on Monday to see if they'll even give me the money. Well, they said they are. They just have to get the assessment done. I have to pay $550 for the assessment. I have to move my propane tank by August, get rid of the old tanks. I have to do a bunch of construction before he even comes. I also need an electrician in to get electricity into that building. And then I have to get a plumber in to do all the plumbing. So this all has to be done by August. So it's going to be a really, really rough couple of months for me money-wise because I have to pay cash for everything. I do not own credit cards. I'm doing everything out of pocket. So the last lender is being bought out, and I'll have the answers to that by next week. They're coming in on Monday. It's $550 for the assessment. And I'm going to be I got to pay them by Wednesday. I'll have the information by next Friday with the lender. I've got the answer to the well. The loan that I'm taking is going to leave me $30,000 left over to get everything ready for this driller to come in. And then the bathroom is going to be done. So it looks like I'm going to have my shower bathroom done before the winter. I really got to pinch pennies and budget. If anybody would like to donate to the build, it's ChuranEvelyn@gmail.com. And I'll put the link on my site. If anybody wants to donate to help me, I'd really appreciate the help. Anyways, yeah, long story short, I'm getting it done. there's still a long ways to go. There's still a lot of things that have to be done, but this is the most important thing. And this is the one of the most expensive parts of the build. And then my property will be a fully functional property, which will bring up the value of the property, because now I have hydro and I'll have water by the end of this summer, my own water. And it will pump enough water for me to fill my own swimming pool. I'll never have to get a water hauler again. So that's really good. And we've already got the buildings to put the plumbing into, so I don't have to build an extra building or anything like that. And yeah, so that stuff's all being done right here in the front on the left-hand side. And he said, if I build on the other side of the property, I just go straight across right in front of my house here, down below, and it goes straight across to the other side of the property. It's a clean, straight dig. And it only goes, I don't know, he said 5 or 6 feet down. I'm not sure what he said, but it has to be 50 feet away from the outhouse. And for water to drain out, I have to be 50 feet away from the house. So that's another thing I got to look into with the plumbing. For now, I'm just going to run hoses over to the other side of the property, but I am going to be putting a holding tank into the ground, which will collect the water. And eventually I'm going to put a recycle gray water tank, and it sits above the ground, and what it does is recycle the water, and then I just plug a hose into it for watering all of my plants. So that's all going to be in the front. And yeah, so, but I've got a plow truck that comes in to plow everything and stuff too, so it's got to work with the plow truck, it's got to work with grass cutters, it's got to work with the dog. So there's a lot of things. And he pointed out all kinds of things and the best way to do it, the cheapest way to do it, and save me cost. And woohoo, I got a well going in. Have a nice day. Churan's Tiny Homestead. Bye.